Hello everyone. So our first project is going to be animating dots. So let's begin. Once we have a project like that, we need to create a new project. So I'll go over here on the OpenTools startup and click on new project. I'll give it a name. I'll call this dots and I'll hit OK. So now after we've created the dots project, we need to create a scene. So here on the new scene button, let's click on new scene and we can create a scene. So I'll just call this start like so and leave everything at the default. So I'll just click create scene here and we're good to go. We need to create a drawing level, and to do that, or a drawing layer, we'll go up here at the top where it says level, we'll go to new and we'll create a new vector level. I've created a shortcut key Ctrl-Alt-V for this, but it's also good to always go back to these menus so you can easily use them. Let's click OK. Now we actually have a column called A1. We can double click on this and we can call this column dots because this is where we have our dots. It's also a nice idea to name your columns. We'll switch over to the brush tool by clicking B or clicking on this icon, and we can actually start drawing any shape we want like that. So you can even create lines and curves. I'll drag this smooth down so I can have, a nice little freehand. So what we're going to do now is to begin animating these dots. I'll draw a dot here and I'll click the right arrow key. This means we've moved to our next frame. If you look at the timeline on the drawing room at the bottom, you can see we are on frame 2. If we want to see what was on frame 1, go over here next to this circular icon and click the dot at the bottom. This is going to show us our previous drawing, and what we've done is to activate our onion skin. So let's draw these frames close to each other like that. Hit the right arrow key, draw another one, right arrow key, and let's begin to just draw them a bit further away. And we'll stop this drawing when we reach frame 24. So now I'm going to start drawing them close to each other. Remember, the previous frame is showing us what we're doing. I'll just zoom in so we can see what we have going on here. Like that, like that. So now I've begun to increase the gap, and trust me, we're not particularly interested in creating anything interesting. We just want to have fun and get used to how we should create, using OpenTools. So again here, a dot, maybe a dot here. It's now here, and we're now on frame 24. So I'll hit this little dot icon here, which is going to frame our entire drawing, and let's hit the loop button. So here, what we just did right now is to animate a simple dot. Now what happened is, if I go ahead and unclick this and move towards the ending, I can just click here and then activate all the onion skins, all the drawings, so we can see all the drawings right here. Now it might be a bit faint. To fix that, let's go to Edit, File, Preferences, and go to Onion Skin, and you can set this to a value of say 95. And you can see how faint this is. So let's go to File, Preferences. Let's set this to 0 so we have no paper thickness at all, so we can see all the previous drawings. So with 0, it means this is very transparent and we can see the drawings underneath. And basically that's what Onion Skin is showing us. We've just randomly spaced these drawings, but notice each of these frames where these drawings are close to each other, it means our drawing is going to be smooth. Our timing is going to be a bit slower. And let's just click on this and have fun like that, so you can see what we did. And if we notice this, our drawing followed a specific path. It's looking like this, like it went this way and it's actually doing this. If we play this, okay, I actually got that wrong. So we actually notice it's going through a loop like that. So it's going like this and it's going like that. I think that's the better loop. So that's how we can have fun creating dots trust me, it's a very good exercise. So what I want you to do as a mini little challenge is to create variations of this dot. You can create another level. So we can go to level and go to new, a new vector level, and this is going to be called B, and we're just going to call that dots 2. And we can turn off our columns by clicking on this to get rid of it. So let's go back to our B1. And what I want you to do is just create a variation, right? So for example, I could just have this dot here, click the right arrow, turn on the onion skin, and I'll just draw these really close to each other. So this is going to be my new rule. All these drawings are going to be close to each other, uniform spacing, not much difference between them until I reach 24. And you can do things like make it big, right, to change that volume, and then make it, bigger. It's getting bigger now, and we'll just make this relatively bigger, and I'll just start making it smaller now, right? So we're just having fun. We're not thinking about creating the next best cartoon series out there. We're just having fun learning the program. And I'll start making this a bit bigger now. Again, big, make it big, and make it big like that. Make this one bigger, and at 24 we're going to make this larger and see what we have. So I'll turn off the onion skin and click the loop button. Big, boom, 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 boom. So you can actually see it's moving at a relatively constant speed, and it's getting bigger and smaller. So go ahead, have fun with the dots. Another tip, power tip, is to create a animation guide. So basically, let me show you the example. Let me create a new level. I'm going to go to new, a new vector level. I'm going to call this guide. So for this guide, say I want to create a path. So I'll click the brush and I'll say, I want to animate my object to follow this path like that. I want it to follow this path. So the thing is, okay, we have this, and let's quickly create a new level on top. We have a new vector level, and that's D. So we have our guide at the bottom, and let's just call that dots 3. So what we want to do is to make our dot follow this guide. Firstly, there are two problems. The first one is if I change the frame, our guide is disappearing. I'll turn off the dots 2 by clicking on this. Now, the first problem is our dot is disappearing, and the second problem is our dot is too dark. It's a reference. We don't want to see its full opacity. So to change that, we'll click this triangular drop down, drag the opacity to about, say, 13%. So now we've solved that problem. The next problem we have is that when we change this to another frame, there's no drawing to show. We're going to hold this drawing, and this is how you hold the drawing. So click on the guide, click and hold the white bar, and then drag it. So we're holding one drawing for 24 frames. It's the same drawing for 24 frames. So when I drag this, it's going to not change because we're holding it. But if we go on frame 25, we're not seeing anything. And once we've done that, let's go to our dots layer, and then we can start creating our animation here. So here, I'm going to create a dot here, and then move this like that. And all we're doing is just making sure that this follows the path. Now I can even make it into a line like that. You can see what I'm just doing. I'm just having fun expanding this, and I'm beginning to slow it down like that. And on 24. So when we play this, so you can actually see. So we're just having fun with dots. And trust me, it's looking like fun already. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson where we'll create another fun animation project. And you can add plots and twists to this dot. So in the next lesson, we're going to do an exercise, a much more better exercise, but I want you to practice this. See you guys in the next lesson.